Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. I am Yash, and in this video we are going to create this beautiful digital agency landing page with React using DaisyUI, which is a framework based on Tailwind CSS. So let me give you a demo of it. At the first we have the header section, and this is the navigation area. This navigation item has a little hover animation over here. At the end we have the themes drop down. DaisyUI provides 25 plus themes. In general, I believe Cyberpunk theme looks amazing, but as of now, let's select the light mode theme, which is the default theme provided by the Daisy UI. So we have the hero section over here. Thereafter, we have the services section. This has some little animation over here as well. Next, we have the testimonial section using cards, which is using stacks provided by the Daisy UI. Next, we have call to action section. Nothing fancy over here. At the end we have the footer section, and this also has some little animation over here. This template is responsive, so let me show you in the responsive mode. So this is our the navigation, and this is our themes drop down. All other section have changed their layout according to the device. So that's it, and without wasting any further time, let's create this beautiful template. And before proceeding further, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. So now let's set up our React app. I will open terminal in VS Code and I will write yarn create React dash app, and we will name this project as Daisy UI LP, which is for landing page. So the packages are installing. I'll be pausing the video and we'll be back once the packages are installed. Yeah, that's done. Now let's head over to the Daisy UI folder. We'll write cd and we will write the folder name, which is Daisy UI -lp. Now let's open the source and remove the unnecessary file. Let's start from the public, and we do not require this command as I prefer to keep the code neat and clean. So we do not require this meta theme as well as meta description as of now. We don't require the fav icon as well as the manifest JSON file. Yeah, that's it. Let's also change this title to Daisy UI. This looks now better. And let's remove these files as we are not using these. Okay, cool. Now let's go to the source file and open index.js. We do not require this code. We do not require strict mode. So let's remove this. We do not require index.css. Okay. We do not require logo, this file. We do not require setup test. We do not require index.css. We do not require this test. So let's remove this as well. Okay. Now also make changes to the app.js. We do not require this logo. Let's remove this, and okay, let's clean this CSS as well. Cool. Now let's install the dependencies which we'll be using inside the project. First we will install the icons, bootstrap icons, which we will definitely use inside the project. Yarn add bootstrap dash icons. All right, so let's import this CSS inside our app.js. We will keep it on the first import bootstrap icon slash font slash. Let me see what they have. Yeah, so yeah, let me copy this, and yeah, now let's check whether we have successfully added icons or not. We'll be using class. Let's start the project to check whether we have successfully installed icons or not. Yeah, so icons are installed successfully. Now let's install the other dependencies. Let's stop the project and install the other dependencies. Yarn add auto prefixer. We will require DaisyUI, of course. Then we have Tailwind CSS, and yes, we'll be using post CSS as well. Meanwhile, the packages are installed. Let's go to the DaisyUI documentation for Create React app, and we will copy two files. One Tailwind config and another is post CSS config. So we will be create one post CSS config file. We'll paste this code. Now let's copy code for Tailwind config. So now let's also import the Tailwind components, which is base, components and utilities. We will be adding this to our app.css file. Now let's save everything, and we will be using button component to see if we have installed DaisyUI correctly or not. So we will use class name btn. Let's run the project again. Yeah, so the DaisyUI has installed perfectly. Now let's add fonts to our the project. We'll be using Google Fonts and we'll be using Montserrat. So let's add this inside our CSS file and also make necessary changes in our Tailwind config. We will be adding inside our theme. So we will change the default sans serif as Montserrat. Now let me save all file. Okay, now let's check if we have successfully added fonts or not. Let's check this button font family. Yeah, I believe the font has successfully installed in the application. That's it. Our setup is now complete, and now let's create the header. So now we will create the header component like this. We have the design. Very first tab, let's close the files which is not going to be used at this moment. So we are not going to use this CSS file. We don't going to use post CSS config, and we are not going to use index.html. We are not going to use index.js, and also let's close this terminal. So let me create a folder inside the source directory called components. Inside component, I will create a new component, header.js. So let me export it. We will write header header. Now let's import this header component inside our application. Import header from component header. So we do not require this. Let's remove it. Okay, now let's check what is going to be wrong. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now let's add off navbar inside this header component. We will copy it from the DaisyUI navbar documentation. We'll be using this part. So where is JSX? Yes, let's copy this. Okay. But we want it inside the container, so we want approx it is the 1200 pixel. So we will wrap this navbar inside a container. So let's add div with container class. And we will make necessary alteration in Tailwind config as well. So we want our container to be in center, so we will keep center is true. We want padding to be 2020 pixel on both the side. We will give units in RAM. Also we want our screens to be 1200 pixel even in small as well as large screen, so we will change to 1200 pixel in 2XL as well. Let's see. Yeah, this is what we wanted. So we want our header to be on the top even when we scroll. So let's add sticky top 0. We want to increase the Z index because we want our header to stay above the fold from every other sections. Also we will add some padding and we will copy this background from navbar to header. Also we do not want left or right padding in navbar, so we will keep it 0. Okay, that's it. Good. Now let's keep Chrome and VS Code side by side. And we will move this sidebar to right side. We will close this sidebar. We will I think this is good. All right, so we will make changes to this btn. Let's also, because we will change this btn to primary. We will add btn dash circle, and we will also add some margin right to this btn. We will remove this svg and install bootstrap icon, and we will increase the font size. Okay, now let's reduce the margin top of the drop down and change the background color to bg dash base dash basso. Remove these navigation links and change these to home, then we have services, about, work and case study. Cool. We will also increase the font size of this DaisyUI. All right. Now also change navigation name for the desktop as well. We'll copy from here and paste it. And we will increase the font weight of the navigation item. Alright, it looks better now. Now let's create themes drop down. We will navigate to DaisyUI documentation and copy themes array provided by them. We will create a new const called themes. Alright, now let's remove this and create a drop down component. Drop down. We want our drop down to start from the right side, so we will add class dropdown dash and. Now create label with class name btn and tab index 0 to make sure this drop down is accessible even when user focuses it. Okay, cool. So now let's create the drop down menu ul with tab index 0. Again, we want this drop down menu to be accessible even when user focuses it, so we will copy the class name of drop down from the drop down above. Also we will add max height to make sure drop down gets scroll after a certain height. We will also add class overflow by auto. So here we have a themes and we can write here length from our themes const themes dot length. All right, so now let's iterate our themes array over here. We will use map function. The second argument is index. We will give key is equal to theme plus I to make sure it is unique. Now let's create button and we will write index plus 1. We will give dot and space, and we will write here theme name, which will come from theme. Let's see that. Alright, we have our themes over here. Now let's add functionality to this button. So we will create a data set dash theme attribute where we will add theme as an argument. We will also add on click event and we will name it handle theme change. So now let's create this function as well as create a use state where we can store our theme. So const, we are passing event argument as well as e. Alright, now we will create a use state where we can store our theme. By default we will keep light. So now we will create a use effect and set our theme in HTML attribute. Also we will make sure to add theme as dependency to this use effect function. So we will add data dash theme as theme. Cool. So now we will make changes to our onClick function. First we will get the value, so we can get it from the target. Now we will use setTheme function to change the theme whenever a particular theme is clicked. Now let's see if we have implemented our alright, our theme change is implemented successfully. Yeah, I think the header is done. Alright, so let's move to the next section. Okay, so now let's create the hero component. Before that I found a little missing thing. We have a typo here. Here it will be key. Okay, so now let's go to the components folder and create a new component called hero.js. Let's write export function for this component. Import React from React. Export default function hero, and we will have this return. Section, we will have a container. Now let's import this hero component inside the app.js. Oh, alright. Now let's write a markup inside this return statement. We will copy hero code from DaisyUI source code. We'll be using this. Now let's make update inside this code to match our design. So we do not need this hero section to fill the entire screen, so we will give height 96 and change the height when the app hits the tablet breakpoint. It will be around 500 pixel. Let's give some border radius and also add overflow hidden to make sure everything is inside this section. I'm going to use placeimg.com for images. We will use tag over here. Now let's change the overlay color to bg-secondary. Good. Now we want to change the text color to secondary content, and we will update the max width to max-w-lg. We will change this type over here. Let's make your product a success. Let's update the spacing. From SM we would like to have MB-7 and also change font size for the mobile device, and when the application is more than SM, which is 640 pixel, font size should increase to text as 5XL. Now let's copy text from our website to this paragraph. Now let's increase the spacing for devices which are greater than 640 pixel and also increase the font size. Good. It looks much better. Now let's change the styling for the B10. We want it to be yellow. We want it to be wide when it is bigger than 640 pixel. Good. Our hero component is also ready. Now let's create services section. Okay, so now let's create this services component. Services.js and create export function for services component. Import React from React, export default function services, and now let's import this component inside our app.js. Import services from component/services. Now let's create a container inside section and add padding top and bottom to this section for mobile as well as laptops. Cool. Now let's save all files. We will create this title and subtitle. Now create a div inside container with class text center Now let's create h2 with class name text dash 3xl with sm colon text dash 5xl font bold and mb-4. We'll copy text from the website. Now let's create the paragraph and copy the text for the paragraph. Let's add class to this paragraph text dash lg with text dash 2xl for screens which are greater than 640 pixel, mb-6, and increase the margin bottom for tablet as well as laptops to mb-14. Alright, now let's create this container div and put the services section inside it. So we will have a sibling div grid. We will have one div per column in the mobile, two in the SM, and 3 when screens are greater than 768 pixel. Okay. Grid dash calls dash 1 when screen is bigger than 640 pixel, we will have 2 columns. So we will add class grid dash calls dash 2, and when screen is bigger than tablet, the grid should be 3, grid dash calls dash 3. Now let's add spacing between the services. Gap 6 by default. When the screen size is greater than LG, which is 1024 pixel, the gap will increase to gap dash 8, and when the screen hits 1280 pixel, which is XL, gap should be 10. Okay. Now let's create this one service section, SEO services. We will use card, division class name card. Let's give background color bg dash base dash tone red. That's it. Let's add card body inside card. We want our content to be in center, so we will add class items dash center text dash center and add some spacing between the elements. Now let's use bootstrap icon for search and increase the size of the icon by font size text dash 4xl. Let's give heading to the services. We'll use card dash title. These class names are provided by DaisyUI, so we do not have to worry about the CSS. Now let's write the text. This is a wider card. Let's add break line. We want this break line for screens which are greater than laptop, else we will hide this break line. Supporting text below as a as a natural content. It's around 1280. Good. So we want this hover animation. Let's add class for that. So inside our card div over here, add class transform dash GPU, add transition dash all. We will give duration as 300. When the card is over, we will add class translate. We will have y negative. Okay. Also add some box shadow dash LG. Cool. Now let's copy this card and create 1 2 3 and 4 services and change the text as well as the icon. Now let's change the content as well as the icon. We have social content. No, the paragraph text is same in all services. It's bi dash. Okay, let's copy this over here. Now then we have creative ads. Bi badge ad. Okay, then we have brand identity. Let's copy class for its icon, card dash checklist. Then we have budget and marketing. Let's copy icon for this as well. It's wallet 2. One more card is needed. No, I think we have missed this one. Okay, so we have skipped one card, so we will cut and paste it at the last. It is optimize conversions. Okay, let's copy the class name of its icon. It's bi-funnel. All right, let's save and see in our page. Refresh it. SEO services, social content, creative ads. All right, let's see in the mobile version as well. Cool. That's it. Now our services component is also complete. Now we will create testimonial section. Let's create component named as testimonial.js and import this component inside app.js. Let's copy services section, paste it in testimonial and remove the code which is not required in testimonial. Also change this name to testimonial. Okay, let's hide this bar and close this inspector element, copy this text, paste it, copy this one, paste it. We have a darker background in the testimonial section. Let's add a class bg-neutral to this section, neutral, and we have white text. Let me save the file. Let's view it. I have to save all the files. Okay, done. Now we will create this testimonial section. We have one column in the mobile, two column in the tablet, and 3 column in the laptop. We'll be using column count CSS for creating this section. So let's create a div inside this and add class columns -1 for the mobile, for tablet columns -2, and for laptops columns -3, columns -3. Let's give some spacing in mobile as well as laptop. Let's create a div inside this with class block and give margin bottom in mobile as well as laptop. Inside this we will create a div with class name stack, which is provided by DaisyUI. Inside that we will create 3 divs, and in the first div we will write our code for the card, and the other div will be used for stacking. Let's add class name card bg-primary, and let's give a height of 40 pixel. For the third stack, let's give yellow color. Now to the main div, let's give background color to the card. bg-secondary, and the text will be text-secondary-content. Inside this div, create a div with class name card body with gap-4. Now let's create avatar. Division class name avatar. We will give flags -shrink -0 to make sure this avatar is not shrink because of the flags parent. We will have another div inside the avatar with w-16, and we will have the border radius full. We will have white color border of 2 pixel. Let's use img from placeimg.com 100 by 100/people. Alright, let's save the file and see. Alright, now let's create another div for the content. Give margin left, create a paragraph element with class name text lg, font weight should be medium, and leading should be tight, which is line height. These CSS are from the Tailwind CSS. If you are not sure about Tailwind CSS is a utility first framework, and it will only include CSS which is used inside our application and remove all other CSS to keep our file as small as possible. So next we have the paragraph. Let's copy from the website, copy and paste it. Let's see. Cool. Now we will copy this block, paste it and change the content as per the website. We will use 99.99 so that we have different people. Here it is a manager and this is the content. Copy, paste it. That's it. Let's check out. Cool. I think these four are the same div. Let's copy and change the name. We will change to 98, change name to Dan, and here it will be mobile div. Cool. Let's copy, paste it, change to 97 and change name to Adam. It is a creator of Tailwind CSS inside the small. Cool. Again we will copy this div, paste it, copy the name, change here to 96, paste, creator of Tailwind awesome. Cool. Copy, paste, copy the name, paste it, change it to 95 and we will have mobile day over here. Cool. Let's check this out. Alright, this looks good. Yeah, that's it. Our testimonial section is also complete, and if we check inside the mobile, yeah, it's done. Cool. And now we will create this call to action section. Okay, now let's create cta.js inside components folder. And import this component inside app.js. Let's create export function for cta.js. We will import React from React and create export function for CTA component. Now let's write markup inside our return statement. Let's give padding for mobile as well as screens which are bigger than tablet. Let's create container inside section. Let's create div with flags. We will have flags call in the mobile and flags row when screen is bigger than tablet. Add justify center, item center, gap -6, text dash center. Let's close this sidebar, we do not want that, and we want text to be left aligned when the screen is tablet or bigger than that. Let's create the first child element, which is for text span. So we will copy text from over here. Let's make something great. We will add breakline and we will keep hidden in the mobile and display it when screen is bigger than 640 pixel. Created together. Cool. Now let's add class name to this text. Flag scroll to make sure it uses the most of the spaces, and keep the button at the corner. Text dash 4xl for the mobile, and when the screen is bigger than tablet, text dash 5xl, and when screen is 16 inch or more than that, text dash 6xl. Font bold, will give color as primary. Cool. Let's save it and see. We have to save all file. Check app.js. We have imported CTA, export default function, return. All right, here it is. Now let's create a button. Add class name btn, it will be secondary. We will keep the edges rounded and increase the size of the button with class name btn-lg. Let's connect. Cool. CTA section is also complete. You can see that. Now we have to create this footer section. Let's do that. Let's head over to components folder and create footer.js and create export function over here. Import React from React, export default function, footer, and we will write return statement. Okay. Now let's import this component inside the app. This is our last component. All right. So now let's head over to DaisyUI footer component documentation. We'll be using this. So let's copy its JSX and paste it in our footer component. Copy it, paste it. Now let's make the updates wherever required as per our design. We have to create footer like this. So firstly we need to copy one more because we have 1 2 3 4, and at the end we have the subscribe newsletter. So now let's add the classes. So let's create is div, and we want our footer inside the container. So footer, and inside that we will have container. We will cut this 2 and paste it in the end. All right. Now let's add class to this footer. bg dash base dash 200, which is, and remove this from over here. We will remove the padding, we don't require that, and text dash base we will cut from here and paste it in the footer. All right, cool. So here in the footer we will add the padding with the class py-10 for the mobile, and when the screen is bigger than tablet the padding will increase to py-16. We'll be using grid-calls-2. so we have two columns in the mobile, and when the screen is bigger than 640 pixel grid columns will be 4. all right, and when we are in the laptop device, uh, grid should be auto, so we have a grid-calls-auto class name for it. All right, cool. Now let's change the content. We can copy it from the website, so we have solutions, we can paste it as solutions, and we have marketing, and then we have analytics and commerce, and analytics, commerce, and insights. Cool. Then we have services, which is copy, and company, and we have legal. Everything other looks cool. Let's save it. All right, this looks good. All right, we want our newsletter in the mobile to stretch until the end, so we'll make changes over here. We will add some classes over here. We will add class with full with 100%. We will add call dash span dash full, and when the screen is tablet or bigger than that we will use call dash auto class name, and inside the footer title it is something perfect, so we will have with full. all right, and apart from that everything looks good. Let me save. all right, let me stretch it. all right, now we will create this bottom footer. okay, for that we will be collapse this class and add a sibling div with class name flex. We will make sure that the social links and the text are in the column in mobile version, whereas when the screen is bigger than 640 pixel they become a row. all right, we will add class item centered, so everything is centered. We will add a border top, and we will have border color as border dash base dash 300. We will add some padding top and bottom, and also add space between the two sections. Now let's create div for the text. so division class flex dash grow, so we can have social links at the corner, and we will use text dash center, so that in the mobile the copyright section is in the center, and when the screen is bigger than 640 pixel the text should be left aligned, so we will be using text chart as the class name. We will copy the text from the website. all right, cool. So now we will create the social link grid with the class name grid, and we will use grid dash flow dash call with gap 4 to make sure we have room for various social links. Now we will create the anchor links, and we will give href as hash an exclamation mark to make sure nothing happens on its click. We'll be using bootstrap icons. Let's add Facebook bi dash Facebook give font size text as XL. Let's give class name to the anchor link as a link, and we'll give secondary color, so we'll add link as secondary. Let's save it and view it. All right, there is something that is going wrong. Okay, this div needs to be inside this div, so it gets flex parent. All right, everything seems good. Now let's add Instagram, Twitter, GitHub and Dribble link as well. We will copy it. All right, and change the class name. Here we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have GitHub, and we have Dribble. Make sure to add 3b inside the Dribble. All right, cool. Now let's check in the mobile version how it is. Cool, it seems good to me. Now let's format the code. So this is the code, and all right, let's see the landing page. Cool. Also, let's check the responsive to make sure we have not missed anything. Cool, everything seems perfect to me. All right, so landing page is now complete and it is fully responsive. I have added the source code and website link. You can find it in the description. If this video was insightful, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching video, and we'll see you in the next one.